All right, Shalom. First and foremost, going to give all praises and glories to Allah, Yah, Bashim, Yahshua, Bashim, Rakwakadash. Much love and respect to the elders, apostles, bishops, a great millstone. And much love and respect to all you Akim out there on the highways and byways doing this work in sincerity and truth all around the world. And Shalom to this few sisters listening in silence through the spirit and power of our Lord, Yah, Bashim, Yahshua. So I happened to just be browsing, you know, through my notifications or whatever. And I came across this scoffer right here that was scoffing about a video I did 4 years ago, um, talking about Timothy's father was an Israelite, not a Greek. So I was just responding to, somebody that I had a conversation with, going over, the scriptures, and the person I had a conversation with, he brought up Timothy, his father. And his whole argument was, that, well, Timothy's father was a heathen and he wasn't an Israelite. So that means that all nations could receive salvation, you know. But what he didn't understand was the history going back, going back, going back to the Grecian Empire or whatever, So I was breaking that down. So what I was doing was, I was going through the history, going through precepts. But at the time here, I don't think I had the Apocrypha downloaded or whatever, so I could just go to the precept, so I could just go to the precept, what I'm saying, from the phone. So I was just reading out of the Apocrypha on the video, the accounts and the history going back, going to the account of the Hellenization of the Israelites, by the Grecian Empire. But you had this individual right here that was scoffing, saying, "Bro, you take too long to get to the understanding. You take too long to get to the understanding. But if you all have some patience and just watch through the video, you'll get the understanding, okay? But you see, he's just talking. But yet you go on his page, right here, you go on his page, and lo and behold, no content, So you're telling me I'm taking too long to get to it, to get to the understanding, but yet you yourself don't even have no videos or no content on your page, bro. Like, come on now. Let's be serious. All right. So what I did was I left the scripture here going into Isaiah chapter 28 verse 10. Okay. Because what I was doing was, precept must actually, let's get that real quick. Let me jump over here. So, this is Isaiah chapter 28 verse 10. All right. Let me start at 9 actually. So it reads, "Whom shall he teach knowledge, and whom shall he make to understand doctrine?" You see that? So who shall he teach knowledge, and who should he make to understand doctrine? So the teaching was that proving that Timothy's father was an Israelite, not a Greek. Okay. Which you will see that he was calling himself, but we have the understanding that Timothy's father wasn't a Greek. He was an actual Israelite that was calling himself a Greek. All right, going back to the Grecian Empire. Okay. So what I was doing was I was going from precept upon precept, like the scripture says, So let me read that again. So whom shall he teach knowledge, and whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. For precept must be upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little. You see that? Here a little and there a little. So what we do is we go from precept upon precept, We'll bring one precept out, and then we'll follow up with another precept to back up that first precept that we bring out. Okay. So that's how you understand, the doctrine. That's how you understand or pinpoint, what I'm saying, the doctrine of what we're teaching. Okay. So what I did was, I went into the history. I brought out, first I brought out Acts chapter 21, verse 21, saying that, that they were actually teaching the Jews, the Israelites that were among the Gentiles, that forsaken the customs, and they weren't following after the customs of the Israelites. All right, they were following after the customs of the heathen. Okay, these Israelites. Okay, so what I did was I brought that precept out, and then I went to the history on why they were following the heathen, why they were following the customs of the heathen. Okay, so when you know, then he said, "Oh, you're taking too long to get to the understanding." Well, that's how you get to the understanding. You gotta know the You gotta know the history to understand the mystery. Okay, so that's what I was doing. I was going into the history and the understanding on why this account happened. Okay, so you gotta be patient and understand. You know what I'm saying? These things. You can't just rush right through it. Okay, how the hell are you gonna get the understanding if just rush right through it? But you see, our people, I don't know if he's an Israelite or whatever, but he could be a Jake. I don't know, but our people got a short attention span, and if you got a short attention span like that, maybe you shouldn't watch the video. Don't watch the video then. Go watch IUIC or somebody, or Genesis, or one of these other Israelite, or one of these other fun Israelite camps out there. All right. Because here we're going to go through the precepts. We're going to go precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little. If you ain't got no patience for that, then don't watch the video. It's just that simple. Or don't even waste your time even commenting. All right. Because I could already see that you have no understanding yourself. Where's your works at? Where's your videos? What are you doing? Huh? What you doing? You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what are you doing? All right, what you doing? You're not doing a damn thing but scoffing, just talking. All right. So reading on. Verse 11, for with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to this people. All right. To whom he said, this is the rest where with ye may cause the weary to rest, and this is the refreshing, yet they would not hear. All right. But by the word of the Lord was unto them precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little, that they may go and fall back and be broken and be snared and is snared into the Salaki, and a snare and taken. Okay. So in order to understand the scriptures, we got to do it by precept upon precept. We got to go from one precept to another precept, then back to that next precept to get the understanding. All right. So that's how you do it. All right. It's not a thing of cherry picking or whatever. It's a thing of reading it by precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little. All right. That's how you get the understanding. Okay. All right. So you're not going to get the understanding by rushing through it, by just bringing out one precept and just and just saying, "Oh, there you go." No, we got to do it. We got to do it by the book. All right. We got to do it, like the scriptures say to do it. Okay. I'm pretty sure brothers hear that saying, we got to do it by the book. All right. So this is how we're doing it by. All right. We got to do it by the book. Okay. So, if you don't have the patience and the ear to just to just listen and just watch right through the video, then don't watch the video. It's just that simple. All right, because now you're just scoffing. All right, now you're just talking. All right, and the scripture says that you're gonna have that in these last days. You're gonna have scoffers coming up and just scoffing. All right, let's get that. No, I think it's yeah, right here. So this is Second Peter's chapter 3, verse 3, and it reads, knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers walking after their own lust. You know. All right, so that's what we have in these last days. We have these scoffers, they walking after their own lust. All right. All right, so he's just nothing but a scoffer at the end of the day, just talking. All right. No works to back it up. All right. But, for edification's sake, but that's how you read the scriptures. All right. That's how you get the understanding. All right. So if it takes too long, then, oh, well, I can't help you with that. That's how we do it. That's how we conduct business in this ministry. All right. And if you can't handle that, then this work isn't for you. All right. Then it's just not for you, period. All right. That's how we do business over here. All right. So we do it from precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little. All right. That's how you get the understanding. Okay. That's how you understand the scriptures. Okay. So that's how we do business here. That's how we conduct business at the end of the day. So if you can't handle that, then don't watch the video, my man. All right. Plain and simple. So with that, I'm going to leave it there. Gonna give all praises and glories due to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakwakadash. Shalom.